Good evening, my book club members. It is I, Jordan. And who is this other person who is co-hosting with me today?
Marisa Kirisame.
Okay, I've stopped doing the voice. I'm so sorry.
I'm Marisa
What?
Kirisame.
Okay, then you do a Marisa Kirisame voice. I'll continue doing my shitty, weird voice.
Sorry?
Which
I didn't.
what? Did you
no.
not hear what I said? What? Are you deaf? Are you deaf?
Well, my mic isn't.
What is this?
Okay. Anyway,
you
I'm joking. I'm Kodo.
Yes.
I'm your Marisa.
Yes.
I mean, even though she's the best
and
girl.
today we shall.
Objective best girl.
And today we shall. Do you
No.
want to do that again?
No.
Hmm?
Okay, just continue your introductions.
Okay. I'm Jordan. This is Kodo. Today we will be doing another episode of Mosaics of Eastern Wonderland. Episode 4.
No. It has been a long time since the last one.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the last one. Let's just say I've been neglecting a bit for this one. What are we talking about today, my good
We
sir?
are talking about the Hifuu Club Activity Record. That fan anime. It's from China. I mean, the China has a very large Touhou fan base. So, not.
I mean, I guess it
shouldn't
is
be
pretty.
that surprised.
It is pretty close to Japan. It's more of a regional thing, I guess. It's like a regional proximity stuff.
Touhou, even in the
So-
Touhou, the lore, there's a lot of reference to Chinese culture.
Japanese and Chinese culture are pretty close, I guess, historically. So it would make sense for
Just-
Touhou stuff, which is focused on like more historical myths and stuff,
But the thing
to
is,
be related to
there isn't a
China and
whole.
stuff.
The
Yes.
thing is, there isn't a whole lot of history from other countries in Touhou lore. It's just there's like quite amount of Chinese history reference to it at least.
I mean that's because it is more or less a cultural product. It is a product from Japan. It is about a place in Japan. It is more or less like a rural Japan sort of thing. It's like a medieval Japan. So of course it would make sense that you wouldn't really open up too far around the place. I think the only thing that is the most Western or anything like that, the most outside of Asia, would just be the Scarlet Devil
Yeah.
Mansion.
That's very Western.
That should be, unless of course you want to talk about distance, in which case the moon is the
Oh yeah, even in the
farthest
moon, the
region.
legends is quite close to Chinese legends. You have very
I think it was Chinese, and there are notable like elements of Japanese myths and legends.
I don't know. I
as
feel
well.
like
It
I
makes
feel like the
sense.
Chinese and the Japan legends they have overlap. They have a lot of overlap or something.
As I've said before, it is a
Oh yeah, and
cultural
there's
thing.
Taoism.
Historical
Taoism's
stuff.
come from China.
Oh yes, it's Taoism. Yes,
Fucking
Taoism
Miko.
did come from
Yeah, Miko and her friends.
Don't talk to Miko
Miko
like
and her
that.
friends. Their religions all come from China. Yeah, so
No, don't talk to Miko like this.
I mean
Don't hurt
the
her.
religions they convert to or they shield.
Yeah, I guess Buddhism, Taoism, all that stuff. That it did come from like other parts of Asia. So yeah, it would make sense for like a lot of like I don't really know where I'm going with this. I was gonna talk about like something about stuff like Japanese myth being intermingled with the religious myths of these religions from like the outside world and stuff.
Yeah.
Would that make sense?
Hmm.
Would technically make sense, right?
I don't really understand.
How do you not understand? Think of it. You know what? Should we even talk about
No.
this, or should we talk about the anime?
Yeah, we should talk about the anime.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, hold on first. What do you think of this anime?
Yeah.
Do you love it or do you hate it?
I went through two phases when it came to how I saw the anime. At first, I liked the anime, but then I realized I liked the anime if only because I hated what was the other anime again?
Fantasy
I remember it's
Kaleidoscope.
called Memories of Phantasm, but
Fantastic.
Is it Fantastic Kaleidoscope or Memories of Phantasm?
Both. Both.
Or is it like two names?
Yeah, two names.
Both.
Fantastic Kaleidoscope and then the Memories of Phantasm. It's a very long name.
Yeah. I like the Hifuu Club anime at first, if only because I was in such anger over Fantasy Kaleidoscopes.
Excuse me.
That I forced myself to like it, if only because I just wanted something to like at the time.
Okay.
But then as I rewatched it, I really started thinking to myself, about all the merits or the demerits of the anime. Now that I was outside of the vibe of Fantasy Kaleidoscope, I don't like it. Now that I'm out of it, I came to realize this is fucking worse than Fantasy Kaleidoscope. Fuck! If this was you said this was from China, yes? Then this is some fucking counterfeit Fantasy Kaleidoscope shit, because fucking hell, it is boring.
Yep. It is.
Now what?
I mean, okay, for me,
it is. You hate it.
For me, the first time I watched it, it's just okay for me. And the first time we watched the episode 2 together, okay, the first time we watched the series together, me and Jordan, and then at the episode 2, I hate episode 2 very much, and I just ran it to Jordan. Then on the rewatch, we watched it ourselves, and on the rewatch, I realized episode 1 is even worse than episode 2.
How can episode... Oh wait, no, episode 1 technically should...
It's even worse than episode 2.
Even worse.
And,
that's a bit of a
episode
weird
2 is
thing
still
to
bad.
Say.
Yeah. And then where should we start first? Should I?
Let's just start with let's give a nice rundown of what we remember from episode 1, which I can still remember the title.
Let's talk about episode 1
Episode
first.
1. Yes, it's episode 1, Moon. That's literally just the name of the episode. Moon.
Yeah,
the most boring fucking name you could give to an episode. Look at all the Touhou names out there. Holy shit, why did you give it the most boring fucking name?
I mean,
Moon.
I'm actually fine with the name.
Wow.
I think it makes sense.
It makes sense for the context of the episode, but by this point, if you really want to if you want to continue with the with the Touhou naming convention, you might as well have given it a better name than Moon. It is a small nitpick. We really don't have to argue about this.
It's a small nitpick. I'm actually fine with it.
It's very small. You're very much fine with it. And let's continue.
Yeah. Okay, let's just for you to start first. Let's just for you. I let you just shit on it first before I go on to shit on it.
First of all, episode 1. I do think episode 1 is slightly better than episode 2.
Oh, I'm the opposite with you. I think episode 2.
I don't know.
Episode 2 is better.
Even though I rewatched it, I still enjoyed the opening of the entire thing, where Maribel and Renko, who are the main characters of the fan anime.
By opening?
Technically.
You mean the OP, or like
basically not the OP, but the opening few.
Okay.
Yes, the first scene basically. I still liked it, even though it is by itself actually very boring.
It is boring.
In concept, it's just them talking about stuff I guess an open air cafe.
Made this,
I would call it.
Whoever made this, they are a fan of Sword Art Online too, the cafe scene.
That's a bit hard to say. There are a lot of cafe scenes out there, so I'm not gonna.
I mean, Sword Art Online 2 is a cafe scene. Yeah, it's a joke. But the Sword Art Online 2, the exposition.
There's a lot of there is a lot of cafe scenes in Sword Art Online. Yes, the YouTuber Digibro has pointed that out many times.
And there are other YouTubers who point it out.
Yes.
There are other YouTubers,
there are a lot of YouTubers
who point it out. Yeah. It makes a game. Sword Art Online made a game.
It is a meme. It is a meme. Yes, it is a meme. I don't know. There's something. I suppose the only thing that makes this one better was the fact that it was, in a sense, unique. It is nice to be in a cafe that has a very different environment.
How is it different?
Compared to we're most of the time we're inside a cafe. No, we're out in the open in this one. There's a
Because
nice
just because it is not
blimp.
out in the
Zeppelin?
open,
Let's call it a blimp.
you go, dude.
It's out in the open. There's a. You don't know there's more to
Dude,
this than
if
that,
you-
right? I'm not gonna
okay.
fucking say, oh, it's out in the open. It's fine.
I don't. If you want a cafe scenes, and it's in the outside, and the anime is actually good, you can go watch Aria.
I'm not interested in watching much other
Yeah,
anime.
because
actually,
you
at
have
this
shit
point,
taste.
so-
Okay, no, I'm joking. But yeah, your reason. Well, but when I say heard you just say yeah because it's better just because it's in the outside, I can just recommend you Aria, which is like my favorite anime. That one has the cafe scene in the outside multiple times, and yeah, they're always pretty good. The cafe scenes, they always work because of the nature of the show.
I think it's better to say this is not. I think it's better to say the first scene is not good, but it's marginally better than much of the other cafe scenes that I have seen. It doesn't make it good per se. It makes it just
For me-
tolerable compared to like
For
cafe
me,
scenes
it's just
Sword Art Online.
quite normal.
It's a very I suppose it is done normally. The background is rather standard. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
too
standard.
unique about it. There's a blimp up there. Hi. There's a clock tower. Ooh. There's
You
a
know,
robot
okay.
that goes around the open air cafe.
Okay,
and
I have
stuff.
to interrupt. I have to
pretty nice.
interrupt. Yeah, I thought that they're
Yeah.
supposed to live in a futuristic era, right? Like a very futuristic era.
I
But
suppose.
there's nothing that's in the background that. Okay, actually, there's nothing in the world we've seen in both episodes that. Okay, forgive episode 2 because they explain that the region they explore is very old. But for the first episode, nothing we see in the background aside from the robot that indicates that they live in the future.
Technically, the blimp is also the one thing that indicates it's a little bit futuristic.
I don't
But
remember
yes, that
the
is
blimp.
true. Now that there was a blimp, yes.
Okay,
There was a
I
blimp.
don't remember the blimp.
It was like in the sky. It was just there. Like, hi blimp, you exist. What next?
Okay.
I mean, it works okay as a bit of a scene for exposition. It tells people like, oh, here is what we are about. Here is the precedence for today's episode. It's fine. But as a way of like world building, it does very little. There must be more to this than just a blimp, how you order food in the future, and the robot that gives you the food and takes away your dishes. There should have been more than this. And yet, it falls very flat. So, again, as I've said before, it is at the very least tolerable. I find it pretty much okay. Like, sure, you can shrug at it, like, yeah, okay, fine. But it is very lacking. That is all I can say about the
How about-
opening. If only because there's very little to talk about in the opening, other than, oh, that's it. Nothing special.
Okay.
What do you have to say?
I was gonna let you just talk about everything you want to say about first episode before I move on to talk about mine.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let me try and remember. There is one problem that I have. Well, there are multiple problems, of course, but let's go with the first problem. The first problem I have is the transition from Maribel and Renko to the technically actual story that the anime wants to tell us, which is the story of the moon, the story of the Lunarians, the story of
It's just a Lunarian
the
kingdom.
invasion. Yes, it's the story of the invasion from Earth by Yukari, all that stuff. That is the actual story that the anime wants to portray. That is the part of the anime that technically people should be most excited about. But if that were the case, if that was the highlight of the episode, why in the flying shit are the transitions from Maribel and Renko to that story so batshit bad? It's like Maribel and Renko are just talking. They're talking to each other, and then suddenly, woo, we go to the moon.
Okay.
We go to the past where this invasion
Pause.
happened.
I want to say,
Why is it so? No,
I
no,
actually
I will not pause.
okay,
Why
fine,
is it so?
fine. You go
Okay,
on.
sure. You
Okay.
do it. Nah. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'll keep it. I'll keep my anger for a bit, just for you.
Yeah. I actually, you say that you find the transition bad. You know what? What do I observe? What do I notice? I feel like these two,
Yeah.
the Hifuu Club scenes and the Lunar Kingdom scenes, I feel like they are two completely different stories. They have no interaction with each other. I feel like I'm like watching two different shows. This is what I feel.
Technically, Meribel and Renko should be the ones like discussing, questioning the, I suppose, the ideas of like the immortality and all that stuff. Because I suppose like the Lunarian story is basically about
I feel like
that.
they barely interact.
Because the first Lunarians
They barely interact. If you just take away the Hifuu Club stories, it still works.
No, because in a sense they're not. Because in a sense, I don't think they were supposed to interact on a surface level. They were supposed to interact on a more deeper level.
On a surface, it's the opposite from me.
On a surface level, it's
in the
fucking,
deeper level, they don't interact.
On
On the surface level, they interact. That's what I see.
No, on the deeper level, they're supposed to interact in terms of the discussion of what.
No, it doesn't.
The theme of the Lunarians. For fuck's sake! Because let me try to say it like this: the first Lunarians we saw in the Touhou series were immortals. They were kicked out. They were exiled from the moon because of their immortality, if I recall correctly. I don't know whether or not I have recalled correctly. In the anime, it seems to be the case that they escaped from the moon in that sense. Because when they got immortality, they were punished. It doesn't really sound as if they were exiled.
They are exiled. They are exiled.
They were exiled. Okay. Shit, I think I'm.
Actually, it's just one person.
That. In that case,
it's just one person who is exiled.
No, in that case, Kage was exiled.
Only she is exiled.
Eren, I guess, followed at a certain point.
Yeah,
it's all basically like.
It's all explained in the comic, aka the DLC. No, I'm serious. Okay, I have to say. So,
yes, okay.
For those who didn't know, for this anime, they have a supplementary mangas for both the episodes. The episode 1 is like more thick. It's thicker because it tells more stories. And the episode, so for me, episode 1 feels like No Man's Sky, except that there's a DLC to complete the whole product. The No Man's Sky in the launch state. And for the episode 2, it's a complete story, and the book is like a prologue. And for the episode 2, after reading them, I feel like episode 2, you don't really need the manga, you don't really need the supplementary manga, even though it is a prologue. But for the episode 1, you definitely need the manga, or else it will feel like an incomplete piece of shit. And why I say that the Hifuu Club and the Lunar Kingdom doesn't feel like they have any interaction, because the manga in the manga for the first episode didn't mention Hifuu Club at all. And
so the manga, in a sense, fucking ruined it for you. That ruined
it. Well, how should I say? Okay, I feel like the manga. You need the manga and the Lunar Kingdom part in the episode 1 to be a fully episode, and the Hifuu Club is like whatever piece of shit that should be cut off. I feel like the Hifuu Club don't contribute. I feel like they just fill the screen time.
No, the Hifuu Club was supposed to contribute. To the discussion of immortality.
Yeah. Supposed to be.
To do it.
Yeah, suppose.
But in the grand scheme of things, by the looks of it, it did not work for you.
It did not work for
me.
Me.
Seemed to just be there.
Yeah, they feel like fillers.
Because I guess in the grand scheme of things, the Hifuu Club is never actually supposed to do anything.
They do things. They do things in episode 2.
They do things, but they never. But there is a part of me that wants to say they never truly change anything in the status quo. They have their own circle, in a sense, basically just Meribel and Renko. They are themselves. They are not Gensokyo.
No, I don't buy that.
In the grand scheme of things, they do not do much.
I don't buy that. They do things in episode 2. They actually do things in episode 2, which is one of the improvements.
But they don't really act.
But for episode 1,
but they don't do anything to Gensokyo.
They don't. But the point is, they are investigating.
What they did in episode 2 was they interacted with someone outside of Gensokyo who
to learn more about something in
Gensokyo. Yes, a person who technically had connections to Gensokyo in a very technical sense.
Yeah, I thought
in episode 1 they don't. In episode 1 they don't have anyone to interact with. However, what they were discussing about immortality, about the moon, about what they remember reading about the moon. What they discussed technically has something to do with the Gensokyo story.
Wow. Yes, it has something to do with
I suppose it wasn't enough.
Moon, I guess. It has something to do with the moon, but it's just they don't fit. They don't fit. It's like I'm watching like two different stories. One in the moon and one in the Hifuu Club.
Actually, I think the biggest problem was they didn't focus more on the immortality. Because what they were discussing, Maribel and Renko, were about immortality. If they focused on that rather than the fucking invasion, the two stories would have actually mingled a lot better. Because thematically, because if that were the case, it would mean Maribel and Renko's parts, the scenes, are a discussion of immortality. And for Kaguya and Erin's scenes, which are the moon scenes, the Lunarian scenes, they would have focused more on the
They only appear like twice or once.
I
I think they only appear like once in the anime. Kaguya and Erin.
No, they appear like.
I think they appear once in the anime.
No, they technically appeared twice, but the second time was when they. But the second time was when they were on.
Yeah, that one
Earth
is irrelevant.
By that point, it's like in the.
That one's kind of irrelevant. So technically, it's only one.
Are you sure it's irrelevant?
You just show them on the Earth. Okay, fine.
It shows that they're on the Earth. It shows that they are happy on the Earth. They are fine, even with immortality's curse. They're technically, they can still have fun. They're fine on Earth. They're happy.
They're relevant.
So I suppose, in the grand scheme of things, that it is relevant.
Okay, fine.
In terms of showing what the effects of the immortality are.
I agree.
So that was okay. In any case, I think we should go back to what the fuck I was actually complaining about.
Yeah, what are you going to complain about?
Remember when I said, let me talk. I'm thinking of it in a more technical sense. The transitions from Maribel and Renko's scenes to the Lunarian scenes don't make sense. They just happen. Why? They're talking. Okay, this is an interesting conversation. In the next moment, whoop. Well, we're on the moon and we're gonna look at what the fuck Kaguya and Erin are doing. Why? What triggered it? Nothing triggered it. It just comes out of nowhere. If I was the director and I directed it to be like that, I would have just shot myself. That is why shooting myself would have been a lot.
That is why
better.
I say I feel like I'm watching two different stories. I feel like you should either cut out. Maybe you should just cut out the Hifuu part. And don't call this a Hifuu Club activity and just make it a one episode Lunar Kingdom history fan anime.
That would have worked as well. But it doesn't. It actually doesn't make it sound as. It doesn't make it. You can
cut out the Hifuu Club part. You put the stuff in the manga into this anime, and maybe don't just squish it to 10 a regular anime episode length. Maybe make it 50 minutes like episode 2, and then I think it will improve the show vastly. Improve the episode vastly.
I suppose that should be the case. I actually do have this feeling that they actually just put Maribel and Renko, if only because they wanted the anime to feel unique compared to all the other fan animes out there, which is very little.
Oh, I thought
because most of the other fantasy related.
I thought they put it in because they put it in because it's an anime about Hifuu Club. They have to put it in because it's
But you did say they technically didn't even have to do that. Because by the looks of it, they put more effort on the Lunarian scenes.
Well,
why not just make the entire
in episode 2 they put more effort in the
case?
Hifuu Club. They put a lot more. They actually have a more focus.
Maybe because they learned. Maybe because they learned the Hifuu Club had to be more relevant.
So that's why I say episode 2 is an improvement. Episode 2 is actually an improvement, even though it's just as bad. No, just not just as bad, even though it's also bad. I think it's improvement in some areas.
I don't know. I do come to believe the Hifuu Club's stuff is still not enough. It is not enough. There needs to be.
It's not enough, but it's an improvement over episode 1. I wonder how will episode 3 look like.
Fuck. It will look fucked. Or maybe better. I don't know. It may actually become pretty solid by the end of this. I do not know.
You know.
What other problems do I have?
Well,
I feel like some parts of the sound design don't feel right. Like the fight scenes and stuff, they don't sound weighty. They don't sound powerful enough. They don't sell me on the idea of the
whole fight and the war.
Yes, the whole fight itself. No, the war and the fight itself are so oddly portrayed. The war looks so tiny.
It looks questionable.
The war looks so tiny.
It looks questionable to me.
The war looks so. What? Do you want me to fuck?
What?
The war looks so small. It looks like it's not there. Even though they want you to think it's there. Look, they say. Look at all these yokai we took the fucking effort to draw. Look at all these normal Lunarian soldiers with lightsabers. Ooh,
they're
so scary.
Thieves. I wanna say Jedi, but
and they're all red lightsabers. Yeah, they're Siths right there. Are you serious?
What?
Isn't there a better way to portray this? Why couldn't they fight in a giant moon crater rather than just the open?
Where is Grayson?
That is true. Where are the rabbits?
Where is what is Yuko's superpowers? I wanna see it. I don't know. Do they have help?
Oh my god! I don't think Yuko did anything.
Where is the Onis? Aside from Suika, I mean,
maybe the Onis are
there's that
the
third Oni. I forgot her name. The one with the bandage arm. Where is she?
How the fuck did you forget Kaizen? Oh my fucking god! I don't want to be your friend anymore. Go away. Is it Kaizen or Kaizen?
Kaizen Ibaraki.
Like from a lot of people from the West pronounce it Kaizen.
Really?
But
I thought it's Kaizen.
I pronounce it Kaizen. Technically, it would make more sense to pronounce it as Kaizen actually. But I pronounce it Kaizen. If only because it looks like it's a Kaizen.
Where are the Tengus?
It's saying Karen, but now it's Kaizen.
Where are the Tengus?
We could assume the Tengus don't really give a shit, and they're like, and I suppose
but in
they
the
just
credit scenes, there are Tengus. If you actually watch him, there are Tengus.
Yes, the credit scenes there are Tengu. I don't know why. The credit scenes seem to just
where are
at
the
a
Kappas?
certain point in the credits. I don't think the Kappa might be very interested.
But it's supposed to be all the yokais they gather, they are gathered by Yukari. Oh yeah, and I wonder the sagas.
Yeah, all the yokai gathered by Yukari. I would come to believe she didn't gather the Kappa.
Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she gather as much yokais as possible for the war?
The Kappa aren't even fighters, other than I guess Midori in the fighting games.
But Nori.
Yeah, that's smart.
But Nitori is in Touhou in the Touhou fighting games.
Midori is in the Touhou fighting games because she has like all these.
Yeah, because she's smart, and
what
all the Kappas are smart.
What are the chances that in those times, when the Lunari invasion happened, they haven't developed the technology to fight efficiently at the time?
Who the fuck knows? I mean, in the Touhou universe,
I might as well be fucking devil's advocate here, just so I could explain to you why the shit they might not have been there.
But come on, but kappas are actually dangerous creatures in the Japanese mythologies. So technically, they can fight.
Japanese mythology, yes.
I mean, all the yokais, they should be able to fight.
I don't remember whether or not there are kappa in Legends who actually fought people.
Not fought people, but they are dangerous. They are a threat to people.
Yeah, because they sneak up on you and take a fucking beat out of your ass.
Yeah, that looks like.
I don't know whether they can take a beat out of a Lunarian's ass.
Sure they can on the soldiers.
But why would you risk your life trying to get behind the soldier, trying to put your hand through all of his armor, all of his clothing just to get
the
a beat.
kappas, they are all
Or maybe
very. They are all
no.
lollies. They are all small lollies. They should be able to like dodge around the lightsabers. They are
Oh
very
yeah, like,
agile, maybe.
but they are also very very shy lollies. They do not like confronting
Okay,
people and
then
stuff.
they can
I
make
guess.
their like very high tech stuff. Maybe have like
Do you really
catapult.
want the Kappa to fucking fight in
Yes,
this war?
I want to.
Is this
I want
for
as much
fuck's sake?
kappas as possible, and maybe a lot of tangus, or maybe show all the characters aside from fucking Suika, and also Suika doesn't fully utilize her fucking powers. You know, I thought Suika's power is like
I don't really recall
I
what
thought Suika's is like manipulate density. I'm not a scientist, but I know something like this, manipulate density or density is like something physics. She's able to manipulate physics. That sounds like very powerful thing. Also very powerful superpowers.
technically density is one part of physics. She technically did manipulate
Yeah.
density. She grew.
She just grew. She just used it twice. She just grew very large, and then she throw a spirit bomb. That's all she does. I think you can get more creative with that.
She tossed it.
I think the move set in the Hifuu Tensoku is more creative, or I don't know. I didn't actually play her.
Of course, it's more creative, if only because of the fact that in the fighting games they demand a bit of creativity when it comes to how characters fight. If only because they need to have a full move
I know.
list. In the fight, in the anime,
I just remember
there is no incentive.
I just
to do
remember
this.
what she can do.
Yes.
You know, in the manga,
Yes.
in Horn Hermit, she turns into a mist and then
She turns
go
into,
around.
She actually turns into mist in the anime. She turns into mist in the anime
when she's
for like one time.
when she's in the mist, she can actually hit someone. So why don't she do that on the guy with the Excalibur?
That's a very good question.
Why doesn't she just do that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's just the fights look kind of generic. It's like a generic lolly girl and a guy.
It's a generic fight that doesn't actually sell you on the power of the fighters.
Nope.
You see the power of the fighters. You see what they can do, but nothing else substantiates it. What about where's the sound? The sound design. Where's the oomph of the sound? Where is the choreography? Why is it the most generic like cinematography I've ever seen? Like the part, I can't even fucking remember it. Like a single scene, if only because it's like so. I just blacked out during that scene. I just could not care less because it was so boring.
Holy fuck.
One other problem I have is just how the fight is paced. Not in terms of like the pacing of the fight, as in like, oh, what happens here, what happens there. What is with the fucking frame rate? There's something so weird with it. It does not feel like it's supposed to be a fast, hectic, powerful fight between two fighters. It looks like someone just booted up a super old PS2, and for some reason the PS2 is fucking up really bad while you're playing Dynasty Warriors. Like, couldn't they have just sat down and at least either drew a few more frames or take out a few frames to like speed things up or make things smoother? I'm under the impression, of course, that this team who animated this is not professional.
I mean, it's a doujin.
They're just a group of amateurs.
It's a doujin.
It is a doujin.
doujin
I
anime.
will come to believe they have more fucking dignity in how they portray something like this.
Wow.
Like, now that I think about it, the cinematography of the entire anime feels a bit stale. It's like they have no creativity. They just went for the fastest way to do things, or they just watched too much shitty modern Japanese anime and just thought, yeah, this is what everyone likes. Fuck off. This is why I hate anime now. It's so boring. They cannot be creative anymore. I don't know why. Your Name was the most creative fucking anime. Technically, it wasn't too creative, but it was fucking beautiful. In terms of how they paced the scenes, in terms of what they drew, in terms of how they framed
Which
everything.
anime are you talking about?
Your
Your
Name.
Name.
The movie.
Okay.
The movie. But then again, it's a movie, so I suppose they had like a huge budget. They have more animators and stuff.
I mean, those are made by a team of professionals.
They are, but I would have come to believe a team of amateurs would have tried being more creative. Try to make a name for themselves
Well,
rather than just go for the most boring alternative, which is everything everyone else is doing.
no idea.
Why would you do this?
Yeah, about this, I have something to say. So, I feel like I think at this point I should just bring up my full thoughts or all my thoughts on this
Yep.
episode 1.
Go on.
So when I say it's a No Man's Sky in each launch stage, I'm serious about it. I'm basically saying this thing is rushed and unfinished. Not unfinished. It's actually finished. You need the book to be a finished story. If you don't have the book, when you watch the episode 1, it feels rushed for both the Hifuu Club part and the Lunar Kingdom part. I mean, yeah. Actually after watching this episode, I actually go read the novel, the short stories written by Jun. What's the name again? Hold on. And the music CDs.
Recall.
I think the music CD is Magical Astronomy, I suppose. I read the music CD, lores. Yeah, Magical Astronomy, okay. and the novel. Excuse me.
And what did you learn?
The novel, Cage in Lunatic Runagate. Yeah. So after I read the Magical Astronomy, the entire Hifuu Club is unnecessary because the Magical Astronomy. I just noticed that that Hifuu Club part in the anime, they are basically they adapt Magical Astronomy, the entire thing. But yes, they just adapt Magical Astronomy, but they cut out a lot of things. So it looks really fucking boring. If you want the Hifuu Club scenes, just go and read Magical Astronomy. That one is the full completed version, and the composition is much more interesting.
That's a bit fucking disappointing.
And in the anime, they cut out a whole lot of part, and to make it a very short version, I think they want to fit in a regular anime episode or something. I don't know. Maybe.
I find it very interesting that they cut so much stuff.
I think that's why I say it's not. I think it's a rush. I'm feeling they are rushing.
They're technically not even like inhibited by a time limit, because they're not gonna put this on TV. It's not gonna be in syndication or anything like that. It's not gonna be a TV anime. TV anime technically should have that runtime. I don't remember.
And that is also why I think episode 2 is an improvement, because they actually episode 1 is like 20 regular anime episode, so it's like 20 minutes something, and for the episode 2 they have like 40 minutes or something, so it doesn't feel rushed. It actually is a complete story. But it's
yes.
But you still want,
if episode 1 was a
but if you want if you want everything of episode 2, there's still the manga you can read, which is a prologue.
Why do I have this feeling that they actually made episode 1 not because they wanted to make a full story, but because they wanted to sell their manga? Like episode 1 was used as a way to promote the manga.
The manga came first before the anime came. The manga is supposed to shield the anime.
No, they are. It does still mean they can just very much still use it to promote the manga. That's not gonna stop them.
No, they didn't. The anime never mentioned the manga. Have you seen the anime ever mention the manga or something, or even reference it? I don't think the anime actually even reference the manga.
We could infer from the fact that because they are so linked together story-wise, that technically because they're under the same circle, they're under the same doujin circle.
They're the same doujin circle. The director even made an afterword in the manga. the director of this series.
How is that possible if the manga is the first thing that came out?
Because they want to make the manga. They draw the manga first, and in the manga they just the manga is like a promotion for the anime.
Why would they promote something that was half-assed? If the
I mean,
Fuck's
their goal. I think their goal is to make a complete. Their goal is to make Hifuu Club episode 1 and it's a complete story, but they end up making anime that is like a half-assed story that cannot work without the manga. I think they learned this lesson. They learned a lesson from this, and they made episode 2 with the manga. This time is actually act like a prologue instead of like cut out a half of the story and put it into the manga.
In that case, that's a very good decision on their part.
I feel like episode 1 is like a disaster, and they realize it and they try to improve as much as possible, which is a good thing. There is some noticeable improvements, but it is still not that good.
I suppose if you were to argue in that sense, that yes, I do understand why episode 2 would technically be seen as a better episode than episode 1.
Oh yeah.
If only because...
Hold on first. I also want to talk about the novel. The Lunga part.
If you talk about the novel, I would not give a shit. If only because I cannot ever access the novel.
You can access the novels. I read it in the Touhou wiki. You can read it in the Touhou wiki right now.
They translated. They should have translated.
It's fully translated.
Point, right?
I read it in the wiki.
Okay, that's pretty good.
In an afternoon.
From the Doujin Circle?
No, I mean the novel as in the official novel written by Jun himself.
I was talking about the manga.
The manga you cannot read
not
that.
The novel, sorry.
I'm sorry you can read that. It's not on. I cannot find it translated online.
So now you wanna talk about the novel.
Yeah, I want to talk about the source material right now. So basically, the episode 1 source material is the music CD, Magical Astronomy, and the official novel, Cage, something lunatic, Cage in Lunatic Gate. So the Hifuu Club is obviously the Magical Astronomy, the music CD, Magical Astronomy, and I already said it's a rush piece of shit. They really shouldn't adapt it or something. And for the novel, the entire Lunar Kingdom story, both the anime and the manga, they adapt from Cage in Lunatic Gate. Everything you can find is in. You can find all of the things in Cage in Lunatic Gate. And then well, how should I say? It's actually really interesting because I remember you told me that you find Hifuu Club is more original than Memories of Phantasm. But after I read this novel,
that was at a time when I didn't know about what they were actually adapting. I was thinking they were just using Maribel and Renko's character. They were basing it off of how Zun wrote about them, and they were using the characters in a sort of a, I suppose, original twist. But now that we know that the novels exist, that there was a source material, it is now very much more unoriginal than Fantasy Kaleidoscope, if only because Fantasy Kaleidoscope had a way with portrayed.
I still say episode 2 has actually original element. The Sangai's fucking sister, which I very hate.
Yes, episode 2 is
I think episode 2 is actually has something original. Episode 1, I don't think it has anything original. Maybe the fight that is original, because we know in the lore, official lore, we only know that there is a war, but we never seen the war ever portrayed. And in this anime, they try to portray it, although it isn't very good. Yeah, and I say that in a way, Fantasy Kaleidoscope is more original than this anime, especially episode 1. Yeah,
okay.
And even when they try to adapt the novel, I still feel like they miss quite some things. They miss quite some things in the manga and the anime. They miss quite a few things, which doesn't make it. It's not like an adaptation. It's like they miss things. They miss a few crucial things. They should be included in the anime. They should be included, but they didn't.
If they were included, would it have made the anime make much more sense in a sense?
Okay, I'll try to bring an example. So, in the manga, to make the full story, there is a subplot between the two sisters. What their name again? Yorihime and
Yorihime and I'd always forget the other one.
let me check first.
Toyohime.
Yeah.
Toyohime,
There's a subplot about Yorihime and Toyohime. They really look up to.
And it was not.
They look up to Ering. So this is there's a subplot that about the sisters' relationship with Ering, and you see their relationship. They didn't really introduce the relationship between between sisters and Ering. It's
not existent in the anime. I don't think they ever meet each other. They don't exchange words
they meet
at
each
all.
Other. They meet each other in the comic, but even then they just like, hey, they just like meet and then they talk. There isn't any proper introduction to the characters at all. And then
I suppose it wouldn't make sense for that to be the case if only because we are under the assumption that they know each other. So there is no need to like.
No, you need to do
about
No, you need to do introduction like in the case for the viewers to know, for the audience to know. The problem with I also noticed.
The problem is I'm under the impression that they themselves were under the impression that they were selling it to an audience who knew.
Yeah. They just
assume shut up and just let it go.
They assume the audience already know about the Touhou lore, unlike the Fantasy Kaleidoscope, which at least does introduce the characters, even if you do not know shit about the lore. But in this one, episode 1, they just assume you know everything. So anyway,
that actually reminds me. There was a comment on the. Oh, wait for a bit.
A comment.
Continue.
Sorry?
There was a comment that I saw on the YouTube video. It actually said this. If I remember correctly, I'm going to paraphrase things.
Okay.
It says something about how this is going to be so confusing for newcomers, and I've thought to myself, that's very true actually. If only because it does not tell you anything. It assumes you know all the basics.
Yeah.
And it tosses you in.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. Okay, hold on. The example I haven't fully explained. So, yeah, in the manga.
Okay, go on.
In the manga, they actually introduced Ering, but they didn't introduce in the comic. They didn't introduce the Yorihime, Watatsuki sisters, and they just let you see the interaction between Watatsuki sisters and Ering. And in the novel, there's a part they talk about that there's a human who drift into Lunar Kingdom, and Watatsuki sisters, they take care of him. And there's a conclusion for how like close off for how the fate of the human in the novel it's mentioned, it's talked about. But in the manga, they didn't talk about it. They just like stop at one point. That plot, they just stop at one point and then the end. And then they just move.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's like, there's a climax, and like in the plot structure, there's like climax and resolutions. It's like at the climax,
yes.
right in front of the climax, they just cut it out, and then in the anime, you see the resolution. There's no resolution in the manga. Yeah.
In that case, the manga and the anime are at the very least, intertwined
I mean,
story-wise.
I already
In a
say that you
sense.
need the manga for a complete story, for the complete episode 1 story. Oh yeah, and there's also one thing there are questions. In the manga, Watasuki is the
Yeah.
one who Watasuki is the one who led. Oh yeah, okay, wait. No, they're actually in the fight. Okay, I can just take back my word. They're in the fight. Yeah, again, then there's nothing.
Yes, they are in the fight. Yorihime and Toyohime are in the. They do
Yeah.
go against the invasion. Yes.
And they didn't make it clear, even after I watched the anime and read the manga, they didn't make it clear why Kaguya wants to make the elixir.
Isn't that an interesting question? Why
in
would
the
they want to
novel
do
it's
it?
explained.
In
It's
the
explained.
original novel, what
She's
was it
just
again?
curious. She's curious. Yeah.
She's just
Yeah.
curious. Really, is that it?
She in the
She
lore
wants to see what the
she is
elixir
curious
is.
and then she make it and she drank it and yeah, and you shouldn't do it in the Lunar Kingdom and she get caught. So since she drink it, they are going to execute her, but they can't because she's an immortal now, and so they just exile her to Earth. And Erin is guilty of this because she participated in making the elixir, but she didn't get punished, but she still feel guilty. So when the army, they in the novel, in the comic, they adapt it like when the Lunarians they come down to Earth to pick up Kaguya. Erin actually follow the Lunarians, and after they pick up right on the Earth, when they are just about to transport Kaguya back to Lunar Kingdom, Erin just kill everyone and then bring Kaguya and they run away. That's how it's portrayed in the manga.
Oof.
In the novel, they just say Kaguya just say that Erin just come and then save her, and then they run away. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, both iterations of the story basically conclude in the same way. Kaguya and Erin come together in a sense.
They come together in the they do the story between Kaguya and Erin. It to conclude well. There is a resolution, but you need both the manga and the anime for the proper resolution.
Technically, actually no, yeah, you do need the manga for the proper resolution, or at the very least, a proper framing of the entire development before the resolution. Will make sense. In any case, how long has this been going?
54 minutes.
I feel like it's been going for 1 hour for like one episode. Shit, how are we gonna
Who
talk
knows?
about episode 2?
Let's make this 2 hours.
At the very least, we actually talked about episode 2. We already talked about episode 2 quite a bit. We both, no, you agree. You said episode 2 was better than episode 1. At first, I thought the opposite, but episode 1 was only slightly better. Sorry. Okay, I'm better. I only thought episode 1 was slightly better. Now that you have framed it in a way that makes more sense, I would like to think episode 2 should have better quality.
Because the stuff actually improved on all the problems in episode 1. Not all, a lot of the problems. Such as not making a DLC. And let me think. Actually making the Hifuu Club actually have a role in the story. And they didn't actually try to like put everything in a regular anime episode length. They actually, I think they go all out. So that's why it's 40 minutes, but it actually pays well. instead of like feel very rushed.
Yes.
And yeah,
It is paced better, but it does feel like it is paced a bit slowly,
but it's still a good pace.
I guess.
It's slow,
It's
but
slow
it's
for
still
my.
good.
It's it is
It's still
it is a good pace. It's too slow for me, but it might as well be fine for you.
I'm
It's
fine
too
with slow pace actually. I watch slow pace anime and shows.
I can't stand
fine with
slow
it.
pace. I can't
Oh,
stand.
then don't
slow
watch
pace.
Aria.
If only because the visual. If only because if it is slow paced, I would rather expect something good to see and listen to. But the shit and slow paced anime always put out is just boring. Boring talking, boring visuals. Your Name technically is pretty slow paced in certain parts, but I loved it, if only because I love the visuals of it. I love the animation. Maybe Aria, from what I have seen of Aria, it is a very beautiful show to look at. So in that case, I'm expecting the slower scenes to be substantiated with good visuals. That's very good. That is how you are technically supposed to do scenes like this, I guess, for people who are a bit disillusioned of anime. They don't care about it.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
In that case, Hifuu
I think there's. Well, I didn't follow these few seasons, but I believe there probably still some very pretty season of anime. I think it's still possible. But
I do believe that is still possible.
Well, anyway,
yes.
Let's go back to the topic. Let me think about the strength of episode 2. I think we mentioned a few. I think
episode 2, Maribel and Renko's scenes are fucking relevant, as you said before, but they're relevant if only because of the fact that they're talking to a person who knows about the past.
Hold on.
In the first episode,
there's a note I wrote, which is the structure of episode 2. Let me see. Okay, so episode 2 is, imagine you watch detective shows and there is a murder case going on, but the detective interrogate a guy and the guy spell out all the clues and truth to the case, to the murder case, and that's it.
This entire episode is basically an exposition scene.
It is.
Which is its biggest fucking downfall.
It is.
It is so
it's fucking boring. I don't know why they.
Was there really?
I don't know what's going on in their head to make a fucking exposition scenes for like half the show. I think it's
40 minutes.
No, is it half the show or like 75% or like
I don't recall.
3/4, 75% of the show. It's like exposition by an old fucking grandma. Now I fucking hate Sangai's sister. If Zung ever introduced a Sangai sister, Zung ever introduced that in the official lore that Sangai has a older sister, I will fucking hate that character in all the medias ever. Ever fiction, all the existing media.
It technically could have worked.
Yeah, it could work.
It technically
could
have
work.
worked.
It's not like
if they made it more unique.
Again, though, you remember the improvement I suggested when I talked to you, back then when I ranted to you, like you can remove the Hifuu Club and make it a story like it's a original story, but it's told from the viewpoint of Sangai's sister, and you just see them grow up from a kid and then they grow up and then up until she grow old, and then the resolutions just ends. The resolution happens when Sangai's sister is an old lady. Do you remember that I told you this? Yeah, I think there is a better way to present the story instead of having. Well, when I say like that, I feel like once again the Hifuu Club is the one who they should be just cut out. I say it like this.
I suppose. No, if I would like to say, show don't tell. I would come to believe a few people would of course be saying, well, they're showing us the flashbacks and stuff, but you also need to understand. Show, don't tell it to us at the same time, because they do it here. They show us the flashback, but for some reason she's still fucking narrating. Let us see the scene. Let the scene talk by itself.
Well, and they are,
We're not
and
fucking
the
babies
flashbacks are
who
short.
don't understand what we're
The
looking
flashbacks are
at.
very short.
The flashbacks could have been longer,
Could
honestly.
be longer. I think.
Give it more. It sounds like it could be a very dramatic episode, actually. But the drama keeps getting cut away, and the drama isn't there because they're fucking talking.
You know, I think
Shut up.
The
Let
stuff.
me see
I think the
scene.
stuff is trying to make Sangai's sister a very how should I say, sympathetic character, but they fell hard. They fell hard.
Yes, very sympathetic character.
They fell really hard.
They fell hard because they forgot to shut up.
Yeah. Once again, let
the scene talk. Let the silence talk. I am a big purveyor of silence. I do believe silence can work very well.
I was thinking.
I was thinking
that if they want to use the show don't tell method, they cannot do it like the editor like cut out Sangai's sister, and then they make this actually a detective story where when the Hifuu Club, they just go around various locations trying to collect clues, and then they make conclusions. They just make and use deduction to make conclusion of what actually happens. They can either do that or just cut out the entire Hifuu Club, and then they make an original story from the viewpoint of Sangai's sister, and then you see the life of Sangai's sister and Sangai as they grow up from a little kid until Sangai's sister become an old grandma. And just through these two methods, you can utilize the show don't tell, and maybe can tell a very compelling story or a sympathetic story way more effectively.
Yeah, you could very much do that, like
instead
lot
of
better.
Three ghosts
like,
in a
sense, you don't need. Yeah, you don't need a narrator for this. You really did not. You could have just let the scene play out. Because it's almost as if a part of me feels like they're trying to mock us or something. They're thinking, oh, they don't know what the hell is happening. This is how we're going to explain to them what is happening. This is what's happening, kids. This is Sanae's sister.
If they want to use show don't tell while you using a format like this episode, it won't work. It's just the scene that where there's three ghosts. The moment the three ghosts sit in a room, the show don't tell won't work anymore.
It would actually make more sense if, rather than sitting in a room, the three just went around the town. Think about it.
What?
Like every time they go to a new location in town, it goes into a flashback. It makes more sense.
Good idea. That's actually a good idea.
Why would they just have a flash? Why would they just all have flashbacks? Yeah, like they just walk around town. Like, she just go. Sanae's sister is going around town. Maybe they go to this how should I say this? Maybe a new building. It's like, oh, a new futuristic building. But then they talk about, oh, in the past, in the flashback, oh, she and Sanae would just come here. It wasn't this building. Last time it was a very nice park, maybe. And they would be there. And Sanae would sometimes talk to what she says are the goddesses, but Sanae's sister can never see them. That would have fucking worked a lot better than just sitting in the fucking room. Actually. Like, did these guys really not have the time, the budget, the effort, the motivation to do just that?
Maybe they are a fan
really?
of online too.
Really? Talking about Sword Online 2's fucking cafe again.
It made a name for itself.
Because the
Sword Online 2 made a name for
is
itself with the exposition cafe scenes. Okay, hold on first.
I mean,
Well, I just remember something. I once watched Satoshi Kon movie, Millennium Actress, which is also most of the time just three guys, two girls, two guys and one girl, one old lady sitting in a room, and the old lady just narrate everything. But it actually works, and the movie is actually good. You know why? Because it's exactly what you say. It's everything is a
what?
flashback. Like they just sit down, and the moment they sit down, you never see the room again.
Ooh.
Everything is just a flashback for the old lady from when she's a kid up until she grow up. And after she finish the flashback, they go back to the present scenes, and then you see the ending. Yeah, maybe they could do that too. I think.
I mean, I guess that they could do that, but it would take away the relevance of the Hifuu Club themselves.
No, I think it still works because
I feel like
you
in a
can
sense,
say
I feel
like
like
if you make it like the format of millimeters, you can just say the Hifuu Club they meet Yayoi, which is Sangai sister. They meet Yayoi and then they sit down in the room and then Yayoi just start narrating and then we never see Hifuu Club again. We never see the room again. We never see old Yayoi again and then we see the whole story. I think that can work too. They just like follow the Millennium Actress
in that case,
format.
yeah, I suppose.
So we have 4 formats right now. We have 4 formats. We can make it a detective story where Hifuu Club just go around, collect clues, and make a deduction conclusions. We have
Yes, and Sanae's sister does
What?
not appear by the sounds of it.
yeah.
Sanae's
yeah.
sister does
The
not
second
appear in
one
the first
is you
format,
cut out
yes.
Hifuu Club. You cut out Hifuu Club and make this an original story, like a coming of age of sort, and it's told from the viewpoint of Sangai's sister, and until she grows old. Or the third one is the one you say, which is they walk around town, and then when they see some new locations, every time they went to new locations, Yayoi just reveal a new piece of information, and then we see the flashback. Or we can go with the Millennium Actress format, which is the moment they sit down in the living room, and then you see all the flashbacks, right up to the end. Yeah, 4 formats.
I think the fourth format has one weakness, and that one weakness is the fact that you don't really see the aftermath of what happens to Sanae's sister, to Yayoi.
What?
To
What
Yayoi.
do you mean?
Like her,
You can
like her
see-
mental state right now.
Of course you
Like, what does
can.
she feel? No, shut the fuck
I can
up.
explain to you. How
Here's
the
how it
Yayoi's
works.
aftermath happened in all these 4 scenes, all these 4 formats. Yeah, but you
first
can
one,
just,
Yayoi doesn't appear,
they can
so
end
we
with,
can
but
cross
can
that one
end
out.
with
The
Hifuu
second
Club.
one-
Well, look at the fireworks, which is actually ends pretty well. For the second one, you can just see that maybe, and near the end, Yayoi is old, and then she just realized something by herself, and that she is wrong, and then she just cries by herself. And then, actually,
It
it
doesn't
sounds
really sound
for
very
me. It sounds good.
It would
I
be
mean,
better if it would. It would be. No, it would. Wouldn't it be better if if you saw her live through the guilt rather than just make it seem as if she forgot about it and suddenly remembered
yeah, okay,
it?
this is the format. They lived through she lived through the guilt, and then
They would make her.
she just like she forgave herself, finally forgave herself. Maybe she sees something and then she forgave herself, and then the story ends. The end of the character arcs. And for the third one is again they can maybe when they go back to the room, and then when they go back to, maybe after they walk around the town, they go back to the Yayoi's home, and Yayoi just reveal the part that she has been hiding for so long, and then she just crying in front of the Hifuu Club, and then that's how they end her character arc,
Yes.
which is also a way. And for the fourth one, which is like Millennium Actress, which is after they finish the flashback, we go back to the present day, and then we see that
After you said you were never gonna see them again.
For the Millennium Actress, after they finish the flashback, they go back to the present scenes, and you see the resolutions of the for the old lady's character arc
Dude, if you would
in
have
the movie.
told me that, I would not have said like what I just said, what I critiqued about.
I thought you
fourth,
were talking about
way
all
of
the
doing
four
it.
format.
Because we could, No,
in the
I was
for the
talking
fourth
about the
format,
fourth
after
format,
they finish the
not all the
but they just show the flashback. They never reveal. They never once switch back to the present scenes. After they show all of the flashbacks, which is like a
yes.
linear story, linear proper narrative, and then they go back to the living room, and you see the resolution.
In that case, yes. Yes, in that case, yes. Then you see the effects
Yeah,
of Yayoi's past
yeah,
on the present Yayoi. Because you have to see what the present Yayoi actually feels to get the point across. If you don't, then you don't know what's happened to her. But now that we know, the entire story is now much stronger because if it is so
yeah.
impactful
Oh
to
yeah.
her,
I have to
we are
add
gonna,
one thing.
I
I have to
suppose
add
we're gonna
one thing.
remember.
Millennium
it.
Actress actually also a sad story, but it's a lot more
Yes.
effective. Millennium Actress
No.
is a sad story as well, but it's actually effective. You actually care for the old lady, unlike this one. Okay.
I feel like this one is actually bad. No, this Yayoi is actually bad, if only because she just looks and talks like a fucking generic.
Oh yeah. Speaking
grandma.
about that, do you
There's
know
nothing
all
special
the
about her.
voice actors are big names? Yes, they are all
Are you sure?
Japanese
Are you
seiyus.
sure?
They are all very well known. Let me. I'm not a voice actor expert,
fuck?
and I cannot tell the voice, so I don't know how are the voice actings, but I look at the credit. I can tell the names. They are all very well known voice actors. Okay, for the viewers who maybe know
wow.
about them, maybe the viewers who know the series more than us, I just list a few. Maribel Hearn is voiced by Kanga Hanazawa, the voice actors of Mayuri from Steins Gate, which is fucking insane. And
What?
Sangai
Whoa.
Kochiya is voiced by Ngao Toyama. And one of the Ngao Toyama voiced Nozomi in Hibike Euphonium and Liz and the Bluebird. Liz and the Bluebird is my favorite anime movie, by the way. Wow, my favorite anime movie. And then
That's pretty cool.
all the others, Shimizu I think. Is it Shimizu I? There's also one that Kayango I. Kayango I, she voiced Ryuko. Shimizu I, she voiced Ibuki Suika. Okay, actually go on and list everything. All of them are big names. But I only recognize like two. Kanga Hanazawa.
Oh my god. Don't tell me they actually just used all of their budget just to get them. You do know seiyus are not gonna carry a fucking anime, yes?
They can
make an anime
carry.
sound
They
better,
can
but they're not
carry
gonna
anime.
fucking carry
I
it.
mean, my friends, he told me he's gonna watch Bungo Stray Dog because there's some big names using it.
Oh my god, then anime watchers have the wrong priority.
Anime watchers? You mean
Anime watchers have
every
the wrong
normies
priority.
ever? I mean,
Okay, let's say every normal.
there's a I once
the
talked to a
wrong
classmate.
What the fuck?
I once talked to a classmate. I asked her, "Do you know any directors?" She say directors are not important. They just like point a few things and that's it. And she say actors are more important.
What the fuck?
Yeah, she
you
make it
serious?
sounds like she didn't directly
Really?
says it, but she implies
Really?
actors are more important than directors. Implies. She just build out on directors. So yeah.
The world might as well burn for this. That is a very sad view of this
I
kind of
don't
media
know.
industry as a whole. Directors. What do you prefer? Would you prefer a good, well-directed anime
I mean,
with some pretty
I don't care about actors.
low-level
I don't care about
seiyus?
actors.
Or would
I
you
have
prefer a pretty
I cannot tell apart voices. I cannot tell apart music qualities. So I don't care. Well, when I look at movies and animes or mangas and stuff, I look at the stuff behind it. I will always look at the stuff behind it, aside from the actors.
What do
Okay,
you
when
mean
I
by
read
that?
mangas, I will look at the artist. I will always look at the artist. What did the artist done? What had the artist done? When I look at movies
Yeah,
and
this,
animes, I will look at the director, the writers, and the episode directors.
yes, that's very
And I
important.
usually don't give a fuck to the actors and voice actors because I cannot tell apart their voice. Anyway,
And even then, voice actors and actresses are there
yeah,
to
I know,
sell the character.
but I cannot tell
They're
acting.
not there
I
to
cannot tell
sell
the
the
acting
anime.
and the voice acting, so I don't care.
Yeah, in that case, the directing is very important. You can do very innovative ways of directing just to sell how a character is supposed to be viewed. You don't need to listen to his voice. You just need to see how he is portrayed. Oh look, here's this big buff guy, but how do they frame him in the camera? Do they frame him like he's tiny? Maybe if he's framed like he's tiny, maybe he maybe he is framed in a way where he's actually not that relevant. Or maybe it's more or less a twist. He's a big burly guy, but in truth he's very shy. Or you want to frame him like he's huge, like he looms over the camera. He's powerful. Directing can do so much for anime, because by this point, have you seen most seasonal anime, most of the very quickly produced ones, the shitty ones basically, their directing is so boring, so general, so cliche. It's like the people behind them just don't care anymore. They don't want to like portray certain things. They don't want to show things in a way that will make it interesting, memorable. Everything people direct by these points in time look as if they just wanted to die. They want people to forget it. Why do that? Why not direct as hard as you can? Yeah, make this an amazing product. Don't let it die. This is gonna be on my fucking resume. People are gonna remember me for this shit. So I would just... I mean, did the people who have directed this anime, the Hifuu Club anime, do they really want this in their resume? It looks pretty okay on paper, but really? It looks so boring in the same time. I suppose my big problem with anime these days, I should reiterate, is that there's just no creativity. It's boring. It's by the books. Go somewhere else, please. Somewhere else. But don't stay by the books. Explore,
I just give up.
please.
I mean, I give up on convincing. I give up on convincing my friends to check out old anime more. Everyone just follows seasonals. But anyway,
I suppose it's because old anime does have a certain aesthetic that new anime does not have, like different
I
coloring
mean,
styles.
I call myself
ways
a time traveler. I describe myself as a time traveler to one of my friends because I say I jump around. The first one I might be in the 80s. The next thing I'm watching is in the 2010s. I just jump around. Right now.
Good. It at the very least means you can very easily identify your taste because you have experienced more. You need to experience more. That's what YouTuber Digibro said. Our fucking idol, I guess. That's what Digibro said. You have to look at more stuff. You have
Fuck
to watch more
everyone.
anime to find out what taste you have.
But everyone just wanna follow the season, watch the latest seasonal shit. They don't care about anime. They pretend like they love anime, but the moment they just saw something older, they just like shit on it and say, "Oh my god, it's so ugly." What the hell is this?
That is actually a very sad way of thinking about it because they don't appreciate it. They immediately generalize it as something ugly without understanding that at the time, this was pretty good. this was either it was okay or it was good, or at the time it was breathtaking.
Oh yeah.
Who knows?
Okay. Although hold on.
Why would they
I just
think
remember
such a way?
something.
We don't know.
Yeah, the one of the
Yes.
thing that get me triggered is whenever people see the word, whenever people see the word aria or I mention aria, and then they just say, "Is it Hidango aria?" That get me triggered because okay, Hidango
What is
aria
this
is light
Hidango
novel
aria?
adaptation, and aria is like
Ugh.
aria is actually like a Aria is a
Is it
manga
original?
adaptation, but it's very
Or
good.
manga?
The manga is very good. The
Oh,
anime
okay.
is very good. It's like one of my favorite. And then they compare it to a light novel adaptation. I call it Hidango Aria. I was thinking, oh come on, it's a classic. Aria is actually a classic. It's actually
And it's still, and from what I remember, it still looks
yes,
pretty good.
Aria is actually good. But I don't know.
Interesting that nobody
I don't know
has
about
taken
Hidango
the effort to
Aria.
see it.
But when people just like ask, is this Hidango Aria? I was like, I got quite disappointed. No one knows about Aria. I'm sad. No one knows about this great show.
Because yeah, now that I think of it, the anime community is very focused, or at the very least, the large
Well,
majority
go to
of
Discord.
the anime
Discord
community
people are better.
is noticeably,
I mean, in
I suppose, no, the normies, the people who aren't interested in entering a dedicated group. They're more interested in entering like a huge majority sort of group sort of thing, rather than seeking out something like a Discord server. For those kinds of people who don't seek out a Discord server, who don't seek out like more niche groups, they are more in the present. They follow what is happening. They do not investigate what has happened because they don't need to. The present doesn't care about the past. And I find that very interesting. The present anime does
I
not
wonder
really
how
care
many
about the
Zoomers
past.
actually watch Netflix Eva. Netflix Eva.
How many Zoomers watch what?
Evangelion.
I have not heard
Evangelion
of this.
is actually released on.
Oh, Evangelion.
It actually released on Netflix.
Yes, you have told me this, which is very. I still find that very interesting that they're re-releasing it.
It's
Huh.
good. People finally, Westerners, everyone around the world finally have a legal way to watch Eva.
Oof. I have heard like a lot of conflicting
It's
ideas. on Eva,
actually
but no,
No,
stop. Is
no,
this
we
really
aren't.
what we're supposed to be talking about?
they can finally get back to episode 2. The
I don't. Even,
Touhou
I don't even know
fan
if you have
animation
anything.
Sword Art Online 2.
Do you have anything else?
The exposition scenes.
Do you
Well,
have anything else? Do you have
I
anything
have
else
plot
to say
holes
about,
to talk about.
episode 2?
It's in my note. The plot holes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Explain.
Let me see on my note. Okay, the words in caps lock. So, Yayoi impersonated Sangai, and as soon as she stopped, everyone magically forgot about Sangai. Okay. Which is
That one I do not recall.
it
why.
does happen.
I don't even know if there was a reason.
Oh yeah,
why.
I
Maybe
think
there was.
I wrote this is because so Sangai supposedly disappear. Sangai supposedly disappear when Yayoi is studying in university, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
why? Yeah. So why is it? Why not the moment that Sangai disappears, everyone forgot about Sangai? Why people continue to remember about Sangai up until Yayoi return and Yayoi impersonate as Sangai and Yayoi choose to give up impersonate as Sangai. And it's at that point,
That is
at that
actually
point
a very
everyone forget
interesting.
about Sangai. Why at this specific point? Why not just when during Yayoi's oh yeah, the fifth format. Yayoi returned from university and then she realized all the records are gone and everyone forget about Sangai and then she just investigate and this becomes a detective story but Yayoi is the protagonist. That is also the fifth format which is actually good and actually use show don't tell. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that would actually be good. Wouldn't actually now that I think about it, what would the four formats ending be
Okay.
like? Because I was thinking that maybe at the end we go back to the present. Suddenly it is revealed all of it was a flashback. And in truth, Yayoi was actually talking to the Hifuu Club, and now she is giving them what she has learned,
You mean
basically. Basically, she's too old to like continue this investigation. It is now their turn to see
the
what they
fourth?
can
The
do
fourth?
with the
You mean
information.
the fourth format? The
The
fifth
fifth,
format?
the fifth format, the one where you said Yayoi becomes the
Okay.
detective.
Go on.
Yeah, so that's basically what I said. Yayoi becomes a detective. Blah blah blah. She
Yeah.
goes looking for stuff. She cannot find out why Sanae disappeared, and so she becomes. I suppose she continues becoming Sanae, and then in the end, it is revealed that all of it was a flashback. The Hifuu Club are actually talking to a elderly Yayoi who is too old to continue the investigation, and now she is giving them
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
what she has
That's
learned
also
to
very
see if they can
interesting.
to see if they can continue.
Yeah.
Come on, be a good storyteller,
Yeah.
motherfucker. Come
Okay.
on.
Let me see the other rants I wrote. No one recognizes Yayoi is faking as Sangai, and parents don't exist, and friends don't exist, and observant people don't exist. Oh, okay. So maybe I'm just mad that at the time Yayoi impersonated as Sangai, everyone just believe it. I mean, yeah, where is Sangai's parent? We never see Sangai's parent, and everyone when Yayoi impersonated as Sangai, no one just stop her. I mean, she explains it in the anime, like they say, like the Hifuu Club asks, then how do you know about all the chants and all about the ritual and stuff? And Yayoi just replied that Sangai talked to her about it all the time, so she remembered it. Yeah, but that's it. That's all the information we know about.
It does sound like it does sound like a very half-assed excuse by the writers just to say, oh, there was a plot hole, but here's how we'll cover it. We'll cover it with a carpet, and that carpet is called. Oh, I remember Sanae talking about it a lot to me, so I still remember it. It's basically a shortcut, I guess, by the writers
Okay.
to skirt
Yeah,
away
they
from
didn't,
like
and
kind of
they
shit.
didn't cover the like Sangai's parents, Sangai's grandfather. Oh, they never explain. Did they ever explain Sangai's grandpa? I think they did. Is it? I think they did explain that Sangai's
I think they did.
grandpa, which is also Yayoi's grandpa, he died during Yayoi's study in the university. I think they did explain. I don't remember. And yeah, so
Yeah, I mean,
basically my problem is when Yayoi is impersonating Sangai, her friends, her parents, and everyone else, no one just stop her. No one is able to recognize her as Sangai, which is recognize her as a fake
okay,
Sangai.
let me try and reword. Let me try and reword that for you. When Yayoi impersonated Sanae, there was no consequence. Nothing technically
Oh yeah,
happened because she
there's no
impersonated
consequence.
Sanae. There is no consequence, as you've described it. There is no consequence. Nothing of any importance actually happens, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no one just. So yeah.
Because she just becomes Sanae. Nobody questions it. Nobody confronts her.
Well,
about
because
it.
everyone thought she's everyone
fine.
thought she's the real Sangai. Yeah, but my question is, no one isn't no one can just recognize her as Yayoi, like her parents. Like maybe she just goes out her hair, she just grows out her hair. So for someone who's actually knows about her, maybe her parents or her close friends, or maybe people who are smart, people who are smart and can tell apart faces. Somehow all those guys conveniently don't exist. So Yayoi just continues to be able to impersonate Sangai successfully.
Technically, Sanae and Yayoi are very close looking.
No, they are
twins or something.
They are not twins. They never say they are twins. It's just like one elder sister and one older sister. Yayoi is the elder one.
Still, Still they are drawn in a way where they are
anime has the same
extremely
faces.
similar
Anime
in
has the same
appearance.
faces.
Not even same faces. There's like a lot of features
You
about
sure?
them that look very similar.
Well, no. Yeah, I understand. I understand that. But that doesn't explain things because even if they want to, the face is the same. From what I remember, the face is the same. It's like, and it depends on like a lot of, and it depends on the art style. Like in the case of Love Live, which is everyone has the same face, but everyone actually are very different characters. But it depends on the character design.
No, you also have to remember. Yayoi was basically forgotten by the community, if only because Sanae was the one who was very, I guess. What was that word?
Yeah,
Shit,
if they
there
are
was a word in
forgotten
my
by
head.
the community,
It-
somehow
because
she
Sanae
can,
was-
somehow her parents are able to let her study abroad in universities. I mean, I told university is very expensive to go to. Some days still let
That's
her
actually a
go
very
and study in
interesting
university.
point. We could assume that because sorry, that's just gonna be me making excuses, I guess. So I'm not gonna say.
So at this one part which I find when I think about it, I find it actually quite stupid. So there's a scene that Yayoi, she just runs back to her home and she's happy because she's chosen to be in the university in her first choice of the universities. And when she went back home, and she saw everyone praying, and then one of the priests just say, we are in a ritual, we are doing some ritual, and then Yayoi just got sad, and she said at that moment she realized she is not important, which I find really dumb. It's like, just imagine you are studying in the library very hard for the exam tomorrow, and then I just came in shouting and just call you, hey Jordan, look at this. Don't you feel very disturbed? Yeah.
I suppose so. We could
Why
always
does
assume
she
that.
just why does she just get she just like she just ran back home at the wrong time. People are busy doing something else, something very important, and since you have just finished your stuff, which is finish your things, and you get very excited, you can just wait for the ritual to finish, and then you can just tell them about it instead of just you get sad and then just decide people don't care about you anymore. I mean, people are doing something very important.
I suppose it is. I suppose it is a very irrational thing, but I will come to believe, because of the fact that she has been the technical second child, even though she was the oldest child, she's always been second to Sanae because of like her spirituality and stuff. We could come to the assumption that she has always been trying to one up her, trying to prove
She
to
did
the
say
others that she was
is
better.
jealous.
And this time, now that she has proven herself, she is at a point in, like, I suppose in her mentality where she thought nothing could break this. But then suddenly we have Sanae and we have the ritual, and she, I suppose in that moment, was a bit irrational in how she viewed the entire thing. Which is why she said, oh, this was where I learned I was useless. Or at the very least, not important, sorry. Not important. It's not because it was a rational thing to think about. It was an irrational thing. She was at a high. But the high was totally rejected. And I suppose she was like, she thought, I'm useless. That's just how I see things. I see things in a more psychological way, I guess.
So you are saying? No, I don't really get it. Yeah, some. No, I don't. Okay.
Let me try and think about how I'm gonna explain it.
I mean that she's disturbing someone's work. It's an important work. It's a family work.
No, she is. I agree. But what I am saying is, when she said, I am not important, of course, you would say that's an irrational thing because you have the benefit of hindsight. She does not. She just got into university. She is at a high that she has never
Yeah, but
experienced
still,
before.
if you think about it more rationally,
But then when she has denied it, but when she no, of course she can't be rational at this point in time. It's a bit hard for her to be rational, if only
I
because
don't
this
know.
may be the only
Maybe-
time she will ever prove to anyone that she has the worth. I guess equivalent to Sane in a sense, but not in spirituality, but in another field. But then when they reject it, if only not in a sense reject it, but when she perceives
oh wait,
that she rejects
hold on
it,
first.
she irrationally
Hold on
comes
first.
to the
I just
conclusion.
remember something.
What?
She didn't even tell her parents. She haven't told her parents yet. At that point, she haven't told the parents, the ones who's supposed to be closest to her. And it's just a random stranger to tell her to fuck off. It's not a family who do it. You know? It's the
I suppose in that
yeah,
sense
the
that
guy,
would
the
be
one
true.
who tells her to fuck off is a random stranger, not a
Yes, the one who told her to go to calm
not
down,
stop. Just
shut
sit
up,
down.
and sit
She
down,
tells her to go away.
was.
Yeah, she tells her to go away.
Are you sure? I don't remember. Oh yeah, that is
He
true.
tells her to go away,
He
yeah.
did tell her to go away.
And we never
Was it
even see
family?
her parents.
But no, that is still actually very indicative of the attitude of. Was it the parents or the grandpa who was
I
technically running
don't
the shrine?
know. It's a family. They say it's her family who runs the shrine.
Okay, it's a family who runs the shrine. If a priest has the I suppose the audacity to say that to a daughter of the shrine without like any doubts of any repercussions, that is actually very indicative of the attitude of the parents as well, or at the very least you
why
can
should I
perceive
listen
it as very
as a
no,
family member
how,
of the
how
head?
fucking no, come sit down. There is a very rational way of explaining this. Why would he say that in the first place? Why would he say it so brazenly? Here is one way I
because
can
it is a very
rationalize
important
it. I can
scene.
reason with it.
You're just
It is a very important scene, but why would he just tell her to go away? It's the
Because
daughter
she has
of the
weak-
family
she doesn't
who
have
runs the
spiritual
shrine.
ability.
You're not. Yeah, yeah. But she's still the daughter of the family.
but she doesn't have the spiritual abilities.
Yes, that is one part of the perception, but I would come to believe the priests at the very least have the heart to also
Polite.
at the very least be impartial, or at the very
Polite.
least have some sort of a
Okay.
soft spot. Yes, a politeness to
I don't know.
the daughter.
It looks like a very important
Of course they're
event.
gonna-
Is it an important
of course
event? Or is it like a mundane thing? Or a mundane thing?
It is an important event, but why would they talk to her? It is an important event, but why would they talk to
Maybe because it's
Yayoi
important
like
and
that?
they don't have time. And he doesn't have time to just be
Are
patient.
you sure Yayoi can't just complain? Are you sure Yayoi can't just complain this to her?
Yeah, she doesn't.
her
She doesn't do
parents?
it. We didn't ever see her try to do it.
But why?
Because
Is it because the priest isn't gonna get punished? Is it because she thinks that? Or is it because she thinks the family isn't gonna do anything for her?
and we never see her try to tell her parents about her university results.
It could always be the idea that the attitude of, as I've said before, the attitude of the priest is indicative of
Fuck
the
that
attitude of the
priest.
family to her.
If I'm Yao, I'll just say, "Fuck you. Where's my parents?" Or I had to do that. I had to do that because I don't know shit about this. I don't know shit about the priest. I don't, and I'm the family. I'm part of the family member of the shrine. I don't feel I can just tell the parents that someone is good to me, or I can wait for the whole ritual to end. Hold my excitedness because I understand they are busy, and I wait for the ritual to end, and I just go tell them because I understand it's a work. It's my family work. Of course, has your way.
Do you not understand what I'm trying to? Do you know what I'm? Do you not understand what I'm actually trying to like argue here? I'm arguing that for her, because I'm arguing this under the basis that she may have seen the priest's behavior to be basically the attitude of the entire family itself.
Then she's
If
dumb.
the family doesn't really care for her, the priest wouldn't
Then
care
she's
for her
fucking
as
dumb.
well.
The stranger, that's just a fucking random stranger.
She's a fucking teenager. How fucking dare you? She's young. She has lived through her life trying to get her family's admiration.
Okay, she's trying to get her
focused on
family
this.
admiration. Maybe she can be smarter and then wait for the ritual to end and then go tell her family.
She was smarter. She got into fucking
I'm
university,
saying
was it?
she can just after she gets
College or university?
told fuck off by the priest, she can just calm down and then okay, a smart person, if she's a bit smarter, she will understand that they are doing work.
As I've said before, you would be answering that because you have the privilege of hindsight. She did not. She was in a moment.
After she calmed down, she can think about it. She never once. Oh yeah, and since we've seen this in the viewpoint of a fucking exposition scenes, maybe she never talked about her action back then. She tells the Hifuu Club about this event in a straight line. She never once think back on her actions. Like, oh yeah, maybe back then I was very irrational. She never once say that. She just tells all this story to Hifuu Club.
In that case, shouldn't it just be the writer's problem? Because I was arguing it in the sense of just
in the if the writer's
alone,
problem, then
not about how present.
Then this still leave a plot hole.
It still leaves a plot hole, but I thought we were arguing about this in the sense of how you did not understand.
Okay.
Why Yayoi
I can
would
understand
react
it.
like this.
I can understand
that. Was what I was arguing about.
But
in that case, now we are at a different topic, which is the plot hole of why the thing you talked about never happened after she reacted that way. Which is a plot hole. Why does she never talk about this? Did she just leave for university? We could assume that because it was such a powerful blow to her, she just resigned. She gave up. She didn't care anymore.
Your parents still are willing to give you the living fee and still are willing to pay you help you cover the.
But living fee overseas.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
What? Yeah, but there's also one very interesting way of interpreting this. Why would her parents send her overseas? Why not a Japanese university?
It's not overseas. It's in Japan. It's in Japan.
They can go to her.
Yes, it's in Japan.
Are you sure? I think you kept saying
Japan.
overseas, and I was like, okay,
it's
overseas.
in Japan. Somewhere in Japan.
I forgot about it. Sorry.
Yeah, she doesn't want to
Somewhere
return
in Japan.
because she's angry.
In that case, my argument is for that part is moot.
Okay.
So let's ignore that part.
So yeah, I think I talk about all the plot holes I want to talk about.
Was that all the plot holes?
Well, how should I say? Moria and Kanako's story is weird. So I noticed that the exposition is split into 3 parts. The first part is Yayoi and Sangai's childhood. Yayoi and Sangai's the flashback, all the flashback about Yayoi and Sangai. And the second part is Moria and Kanako's story, which is the legend about, I forgot the name. And I noticed the legends.
I actually do remember that.
Yeah, because the legend doesn't connect with anything else. It can be removed.
Oh.
That's
pretty shit.
And then they talk about Moria and Kanako's, the legends, and then in the third part they just suddenly go back to Yayoi and Sangai's story again. And then that's where Yayoi cries about her about her guild and stuff.
Ah, okay. Hmm.
I feel like it's like
In that case, isn't that another directing and writing problem? In the idea, in terms of why would you put this here when it is technically irrelevant,
okay,
and why
hold on.
would you direct it
Maybe
this way?
maybe you can argue it's relevant. I mean, kind of relevant to show that the Moria and Kanako story is kind of okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just I feel like it's still a bit irrelevant. You don't need them. You don't need it to
We
know
could
about
assume-
Yayoi
we
and
could
Sangai's
assume-
story. Basically, you don't need to know about the Mario
Yes, we could. Yeah, but I suppose it is there
to provide the lore
background.
dump, the authentic
True.
Touhou lore dump.
Yes, just a lore background. The problem is, it sounds like it's. I don't remember.
Yeah,
this
because
part.
it's too
Shit.
unforgettable.
It
It's too
sounds like it's
forgettable
not done
for you
well.
to remember, and it's not your fault.
It sounds like it just comes out of nowhere, rather than it being sewn seamlessly into the story. It's just like it's slapped on it. It's like, yeah, who cares? It's right there. Which is, I don't think that is how you write a story at all. Why would you do this?
Well,
What next?
now I was thinking about this part, the Moria and Kanako story, because that's the only part that Moria and Kanako are mentioned. Everything else, they are both of them are never mentioned.
Why do you keep saying
Suwako.
Moria?
Suwako Moria.
keep saying Moria.
Suwako and Kanako
Yes, Suwako.
story.
I know it's Moria Suwako, but I would have expected you to say Suwako
Because
and Kanako.
in the note I wrote Moria and
That's the thing,
Kanako.
I guess. You didn't know you wrote Moria? Did you forget
No.
Suwako's fucking name?
But Moria is like her first name, right?
Oh no.
Moria Suwako.
Moria. No, Moria Suwako. Suwako Moria. Suwako is technically her first name. Moria is the surname.
Oh, last name. Okay. Okay.
Technically, yes. Continue.
I don't have anything more to say.
I also don't have anything more to say. We've technically discussed it pretty deeply by this
Yeah.
point, I think. Well, deep for our level,
Yeah.
I guess.
Basically, both of us hate this.
I mean,
Both of us hate this anime.
Yeah. We're not scholars or anything. Yep. I used to like it. I used to think it was pretty okay. Now after I rewatched it, now that I've discussed it, it's pretty
Go
fucking
watch
shit.
Fantasy Kaleidoscope.
In a technical, in a
That
very
one is better. That one is better.
Fantasy Kaleidoscope is. It still feels like
At least-
feels like a mass.
No, it doesn't.
Anime, but
It's
at the very
isn't
least,
for
there
me.
is something
For,
to
you
it.
think
at the
you
very
think
least.
Fantasy Kaleidoscope is a mass produced anime? I think it's Fantasy.
Not in terms of art style, but in terms of directing and
Okay.
stuff. There is
I
something.
cannot tell.
It doesn't feel right.
I
It
cannot
doesn't
tell
feel like a passion
cinematography.
project.
I cannot tell the voice acting and the sound. Okay, there's no voice actually in the original version. I cannot tell the sound design. Let's just say, but I cannot tell sound design. I cannot tell the
You know-
cinematography. But they actually put effort in the characters, the character design, which is actually they look really cute, and they put effort in the fan service. I think they do really well as like the most they just combine all.
Not ecchi fan servers, okay? Not ecchi fan servers. No. We're
They
talking about,
combine
Touhou
all the
fan
most
servers
popular
and stuff.
Touhou fan service known to the fandom, and they just put it in a package and present it as an anime, which is I think is actually good. And they actually have the effort to turn the game's story, which actually cannot translate well into a media to a comic or movies. They turn the games
Or in
audio
visual
visual
medium.
medium.
Just a
They
visual
cannot-
medium in general.
The original game's plot, they are not suitable for audio visual medium, and they managed to turn it into a proper
Yeah.
audio visual
Or
medium.
the-
I'm not saying
no.
it's good or bad, but it just they turn it into a coherent one, which is actually good.
Yeah.
Unlike this one, which is both episode. One is exposition, Sword Online 2 exposition the anime, and the other one is like No Man's Sky launch state with DLC. And then what should I say again?
When is episode 14 of Fantasy
Episode 14?
Kaleidoscope? Where is
Oh.
Kanako? I wanna
Okay,
see
at
Kanako's
least-
huge tits, please! I've been fucking
yeah.
waiting!
Also, Fantasy Kaleidoscope has a lot
Playing
of
some-
tits and they bounce. I don't recall
Yeah!
the tits. I don't recall the
Technically,
tits
in the grand.
Hifuu
Technically.
Club bounce. Oh yeah, and there's
Because they're.
and and you get to see.
Is everything what you fucking look for?
No,
Oh,
no,
for
I'm
fuck's
just, I'm just
sake.
trying to say how good this anime is compared to Hifuu Club. It's a joke.
Yeah, the tits bounce 10 out of 10, motherfucker!
And then how should I say? Oh yeah, there's
I'm
the no, how should I say? Spring bath, hot tub? No.
No, summer.
Sauna.
What were you
There's
talking about?
sauna scenes in the there's sauna scenes in the OP
yes.
and in episode
What's
3.
sauna scene?
You get to see a lot of big tits and nice bodies.
Yes. Technically, it's only Yukari and
No.
Ran for like episode 3, I think.
The
I don't know
opening
about- I
has
don't
a
remember
lot.
the
You
opening.
get to see everyone's naked in the opening.
Yeah, technically
Almost
everyone. You
Oh yeah,
technically
and
get to see everyone.
and also
Yeah, of course, censor. Come on, calm down.
also I think it also does the reference way better than Hifuu Club. In Hifuu Club, there's some reference in the background, but
It
I
is
think
more.
this
It
one
is,
does,
yes, it is more
I think this one
skillful
does
in
way
how it
better.
does it.
and it makes it
It is more.
like it makes it actually watchable. It doesn't assume the viewers already know shit. Oh yeah, but in episode 2 of Hifuu Club, they didn't assume the viewers know shit. They actually introduced stuff properly. But it's an exposition anime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let me think.
pretty shit.
Oh yeah, the actions. You get to see great bullets and then a lot of bullets and a lot of colors, and they actually looks very cool. Even for an anime standard.
Even
even
though
for
they
anime
end
standard.
even though they end too
They end
fucking soon.
I mean,
The pacing is. The pacing feels fucked
Really?
up for the Danmaku scenes.
that one I cannot comment.
I thought I did explain. I don't recall whether or not I did. I don't like the pacing
Really?
of the Danmaku fights.
I don't recall you ever say that, but for me, I think it's fine.
Let's
I think
say
it's
that too
fine
fast.
for me. I remember the episode. Is it for episode 9? The one where Sakuya and Remilia they appear and they kill Erin. That part is actually quite hype for me.
They kill Eren.
I mean, they just stop the
They
time
killed her!
and then they stop time and then they just surround Erin with all the knives and then Sakuya resume the time and then just everything explode, which looks actually fucking awesome. Actually looks awesome.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now what?
Um.
So in any case, do you have anything else
No.
to add
Don't watch Hifuu Club.
to? No. Don't watch Hifuu Club. Yes, I also have to agree. I do not recommend this anime anymore. It is a very lackluster
Oh yeah,
production.
I forgot to say. This anime is actually quite well received. Yes. Then
Are you
I once
serious?
read a review of episode 2.
Is it because of the fucking normies
You
that
mean
you keep speaking
Touhou
of? Yeah,
No, okay. So long time ago,
those people who don't.
I'm in the Touhou Discord server, and there's long time ago there's a discussion of the fan anime, and then I remember the people there praise this anime, Hifuu Club. They think Hifuu Club is actually a good fan animation. That's a long time ago. It's the last year.
Very interesting.
And then shortly after we watch,
last year.
episode 2 together, I actually went and checked out Look Around episode 2 for the information, and I stumbled upon a Reddit review of episode 2, and then whoever the writer is, they praise episode 2 and think episode 2 is actually good. Yeah, and it's in the mouth actually in my anime list. Let me check the rating first. Is it in my
Are you
anime,
serious?
anime
It's my
list?
anime list. Holy shit.
Let me check. So it's 7.5, which is actually really
Okay.
high. On my anime list is.
Nah, technically it's really high for like mouse standards, I guess.
I don't think this should deserve a 7.5. Oh yeah, and there's one review by Sangai K10, and whoever this person is, Sangai K10 gave a 9 out of 10.
Ugh! What's wrong with you? You have no taste. This Sanae something guy.
Yeah, I won't.
Anything else?
Well, I mean, since both of us spend a lot of time shitting on this anime, I have a feeling that we will get a lot of shit for this episode.
Come on, you controversial. Come
It's
on,
like
make
hot-
us
it's like a hot
controversial.
take.
We fucking hate this fucking
kinda like a
Hifuu
hot
Club
take.
anime.
But I feel like we are justified. I feel like
Technically, it shouldn't
my
be.
reason for hating is justified. Very well.
I suppose my reason for hating it has been justified by our discussion. So, yay. Woohoo.
Yeah.
We are now on the list of a few people's
Yeah.
to kill list.
They are all from the Touhou fandom.
What did I just say?
We are targeted by some of the Touhou fandom in their hit list.
Yep, we will get fucking killed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think we can end here. Who's going to close the show?
Yeah, let's end it here, I guess. Who's going to close the show? Let's both close
Okay.
the show, my friend. Thank you, you sons of bitches, for listening.
Mosaics of Eastern Wonderland,
Mosaics of
episode
Eastern Wonderland.
4.
Episode 4. Did we do that right? No.
Yeah,
That was a pretty
it's
shit
a very
sync,
bad
I guess. Sync? Yeah. That was pretty bad sync. I keep saying it as sync, I don't know why. Sync technically sounds
I see.
better, but I keep saying it as sync. I don't know, I'm weird that
So-
way, I guess.
Yeah.
Then again, you keep saying guess as guess. I
Guess.
guess. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Guess.
Guess.
Okay.
You're guessing. I'm good. Yes. It's not guess.
Oh, we can just
It's a
end here.
fucking guess.
Yeah, look forward to the next
in
episode
any
where
case,
we
yep,
will
see you guys.
cover
See you.
the Summer's
Yeah.
Daydream. Goodbye.
Summer's Daydream.